And that's just
like he brought up.
question then comes back on when you ask
Hear what evolution
why do prophets, why do the disciples of Jesus writing about the most important person in history cannot get his birth date
Why
right?
does the birth matter?
Because they can't get it right.
Well,
No, that's not
one
the answer.
place.
I asked you, why does the birth matter? Why does him being born matter?
He wants to make a party, and he doesn't know when.
There's
That's
a
all.
time scale.
There's a boxer, right?
It's
And the boxer's name, there's a boxer named Sonny Liston. We don't have the exact birth date of where he was born, right? Does that matter? Exactly where he was born? No, not where. Exactly what year was he born? Does that even matter?
It does if it's for Jesus.
But
Well, because he wants to Christmas,
why
man.
does
Atheists celebrate his.
so why does that?
Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, by the way.
We don't celebrate it because what he was born.
well, I'm okay with it.
The reason why is that he was born, so he could. That's the only reason why. Great Christmas. It's not the exact day of December 25th. We never said that. We just chose so we can have. That's why we call Jesus' birth the day, so we can celebrate.
No, see,
that
the
he
problem
was
here,
sir.
is that
Oh.
one person says that Jesus was during the reign of Herod the Great, and in another account, it says he was during the census of Quirinius. Quirinius was the senator of the Gallia, and he did his census until after Herod the Great.
Okay,
So it's a time scale further backward. You guys can't figure out when the most important person in history was born. You can't tell. You can't even get his time of death right.
question you won't. Why do we need Jesus' exact birth year? Why do we need his birth year?
Because it misaligns with the events in history that it
So
holds.
let's use this. If let's say his exact birth year, right, was 1935, and he still died on the cross for our sins, so we can repent and turn to him, would he still be fulfilling his prophecy?
Messing up the flow of history.
Still be fulfilling his prophecy. Don't put a question on the question.
No, he never fulfilled the prophecy.
He never fulfilled the prophecy?
Nope.
Okay.
Not a single one.
Go to Proverbs 30, verses 3 and 4. Let's see what that says. Since he didn't fulfill the prophecy. And I want you to know, I want y'all to know that Jesus is the Son of God. And he also ascended to the heavens and came down. So while we go to Proverbs 30, verses 3 and 4, I want you to acknowledge what it says.
Proverbs 30, verse 4, yeah?
Yep, 3 and 4. Go to the KJV.
Let me get it up on the.
1.
Yeah.
Or we could go to the original Hebrew. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. This thing, can you make a reader? All right, I'll just
Good.
I neither nor learned wisdom nor knowledge of the holy ones, right? Because in the Hebrew it said Edoshim, and that's holy ones. Who has ascended up into heaven or descended? So the man who came up and down from heaven, that was Jesus Christ, right? And if we and who has gathered up the wind in his fist? Who has found the waters in his garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? The Lord has established all the ends of the earth. Remember that. What is his name? And what is the name of his son? Surely you know. Or in this translation, if you can't tell. It says you can't tell. Can you not tell who did that? And who is the Son of God? Answer that.
Nope. Sure can't.
Who is the Son of God?
We don't know.
Who is the Son?
We don't even know if he had a son.
Who is the Son of God? You know this.
Don't know.
Let's not play stupid here. You know the Son of God is Jesus.
He's not playing. He is.
Let's not.
Okay. How is that a fulfillment of prophecy?
Because he's the Son of God.
Because
He
you.
from heaven and came back down, and that was in the Old Testament. Did Jesus not die and resurrect?
Nope. There's no accounting for that he resurrected.
Not in the Bible.
Nope.
No.
This guy just.
I literally showed you. He says.
I mean, the Bible
Oh,
says
Stevie, man.
there were quote unquote
What's
500 witnesses,
What's the
but they can't name a single one.
What's the Christian?
And you would think
What's
you would
the
think
Christian
that
theology?
if
What do
any
you
of those
mean?
500 people saw Jesus, saw somebody raised from the dead, they'd be talking about it, and somebody else
Matthew,
other than the
Mark,
Bible would have written about it.
what do you think the Gospels are? Of course, they're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Gospels are the recount of like Jesus
Exactly.
actually resurrecting, man.
Why isn't it anywhere else
But no,
except
Why
the
is
Bible?
logic
It's
failing
more than
today
what
so
you
much?
can offer.
you want to play?
What's the what do you have on the contrary? What do you have on the contrary? It's
That
just
there's
all,
no
you know,
other
it's I don't wanna
historical
be-
evidence.
There is Matthew, Mark.
there is.
Mark.
There's plenty.
No, you cannot. The Bible cannot justify the Bible.
Oh,
When I was atheist,
Okay.
people were smarter.
this is where these atheist people get something wrong. There's a historical document called the Historical Evidence of Jesus Christ's Crucifixion, and it's the historical evidence of Jesus being crucified, and he died, ascended to the heaven, came back down. What's so hard? And if you see it, Jesus' tomb is empty. So I guess that's not enough proof.
Because it didn't happen. That's the problem with it.
It did.
How do you know it didn't happen? Prove that it didn't
It
happen.
did not happen.
It didn't happen. That's a good question.
Prove it. Prove it.
Did you prove it? The burden of proof is on you.
No, don't.
No, you're saying the positive. You're saying the positive like thing. You're saying it didn't happen as a positive claim.
We just showed you the prophecy, and we also just showed you that, according to the Bible, Jesus resurrected. You said people will be talking about. We showed you it was the Gospels. Okay, according to all that logic, how is he not God? Explain that.
There's no evidence for it.
Even the Bible isn't evidence.
The Bible cannot confirm the Bible.
But I just told you to look up the document of the evidence of Jesus Christ's crucifixion. That's outside. That's more evidence outside.
So what? Some dude named Jesus was crucified and died. So what?
Brother, that's more historical evidence of him ascending and coming back down on earth. And these people saw it.
No, it does not.
They
It just
literally
says
died.
that there
Brother,
was some
brother,
dude.
No, brother. Here's what
All
you
it
fail-
says is that
brother,
there's some dude named Jesus
Here's
who
what you fail
died.
to
That's it.
understand. I know you're smarter than this. They seen him do this. They lit in the Old Testament. They literally said it was a prophecy. They didn't know Jesus was going to do that. They didn't know he was the Son of God. But once we figured out he was the Son of God, they wrote it down. They literally, all the apostles literally died for it because they were willing to back down. All they had to say is, Jesus is not God. He did not die on the cross for sins. That's all they had to say, and they would be alive. And people who love their life.
Here's one for you.
Brother, people who love their life would have said, oh yeah, never mind, he's not God. But they died for it, and the man named Paul, who's a historical person, even when he experienced Jesus, he died because he folded. He went from having power to losing all of his power, from following Jesus Christ, knowing that he is risking his life for it. Those people did not die for nothing. And I know you didn't. I know you do. I know you agree with that. So let's not play
Nope,
stupid.
sure don't.
How?
No, he doesn't. He just
Why
doesn't want to
did you-
give you the situation. But
No,
you just
people
could him.
die for a lie. They just don't know it's a lie.
They don't know. They literally saw it. How are you going to tell the person who saw it?
Who saw it?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Matthew didn't write Matthew. Luke didn't write Luke, and Mark didn't write Mark.
Okay,
They're
okay.
all
Who
written
wrote
anonymously.
Matthew then?
Lie.
Paul, right?
We don't know.
No, I'm about to.
It's written anonymously.
Paul is a historical person. He historically knew John, and John confirmed the Gospels. Paul confirmed the Gospels. If the man who met the man who wrote the Gospels, and he said it was confirmed, I'm going to believe the man who met the man who wrote the Gospels because he met him and he confirmed the Gospels. So, yes, Matthew did write Matthew. Mark did write
No, they did
John
not
did
meet
write
him.
John. Yes, because Paul spoke to John and
Show me where it says that they personally met him.
so Paul
Like John met him.
You do realize Paul historically knew John, right? You do realize this, right? How you know how Christianity was founded, right? Paul and John. Paul historically knew John.
Yeah, John was the
Hey,
traveling
atheist.
Paul,
doctor
If
or whatever.
Christianity,
Paul.
if Christianity was true, if Christianity was true, would you believe in Christianism or not? If it was true,
would not believe it.
If there was sufficient evidence for it to be true, then yeah.
Is that not sufficient evidence?
well, there is sufficient evidence. What year is this? What is this year? What year are we at?
2026.
Okay, why are we in 2026 and not 5,802, for instance?
Oh, get out of here.
No, answer, man. You don't know this?
Answer the question.
Dude, this is just culture. It's culture, man. Why are we in 2026 and not 5,034? No, honestly, it's just a cultural thing. Do you know why we're in 2026? He cannot answer. But the reason is because that is the year that we think that Jesus was born at.
That we
26 years ago.
Think, right?
Yeah, that we think. There's a 10-year discrepancy.
Well, do you think that 2 plus 2 is 4?
What does that have to do with this?
Oh,
well, do you think it or not? Because then, like, yeah, you're saying, but we think. Oh, you think that it's 4 then?
So it's not actually 4. So
the Gospels literally get Jesus's birth wrong.
So what?
Wrong. Wrong.
Granted, even if I granted that to you, why would that matter?
We can
Jesus.
You know.
Because it messes up the entire flow of events that happen in the
All right, let me address this. Let me address this
to God, man.
Because I think last Christmas I did actually talk about this. So firstly, right, I'm comfortable with December 25th. That's me personally. Right. I'm comfortable with it because I can see biblically, I can see the evidence for it. So how much have you looked into this, Stalker?
A bit.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
All right.
Down in the toilet, and I read a book, and now I know.
Okay.
Dude, like, come on, man.
Do you know
what Christians are doing? You read a book, so it must be true.
No, we read the book, it's studied as historical evidence, and they all add up. What you don't realize is
it does not.
You cannot go.
But you're not, man. You're not. Why do you talk like that, man?
Because it's not accurate.
But it's not. Why?
Okay. Let me just test something. So regarding your understanding of Zechariah, Elizabeth, Mary, what's your understanding of?
I'm so glad you brought that up. So according to the Old Testament, isn't the Messiah supposed to be from the line of David?
Yeah, you said that before. That's not a problem. That's easy. That's the Bible talks about it. But 1 second, let's just stick with the 3 people I mentioned. So, for example, Zechariah. What do you know about Zechariah from a gospel standpoint?
That it's testy.
That is what?
What?
It's the word.
Chat GPT, please give me a word.
Exactly what he said. No, bro.
No.
You don't know anything, yeah? Just say it.
Using AI, bro. If you're that down bad to use AI, you might as well just accept it, bro. Because this is not making sense. ChatGPT, pretend atheist and please. ChatGPT, help me. My Lord and Savior, ChatGPT.
Okay, cool. Ad hominems.
So once again, Satan Stalker, are you able to tell us who Zechariah is?
He's a supposed prophet.
I said according to the gospel.
That's my answer. That's my understanding of it.
He doesn't know what Zechariah is.
He doesn't
in
know
the
who
gospel.
Zechariah is. Yeah. So that's quite clear. So that's where you're going wrong, okay? Because if you don't know who Zechariah is and a connection to John if you don't know who Zechariah is, then that's one thing. Okay, so let me what about this? Who is Zacharias? Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh man. Now that's a big problem.
I got to put it here. Don't worry.
So the fact that you don't know who Zechariah is and you've got a big problem about, the birth of Jesus and when that happened, I think that's, you're going to fall into difficulty. So first and foremost, Zacharias is the father of, I'm going to give you the answer to help you about December 25th, because you're saying, if you're connecting that to, okay, well,
No,
Jesus dying on the cross, how can we trust everything else? What?
It's not the day that's the problem, it's the year.
It doesn't matter.
Bro, what? Why did
It doesn't matter.
matter?
So it doesn't matter. So the thing is, right, the point is that you've got a problem with December 25th, yeah?
No.
You just said.
You got a problem?
I just said, all I said was that he wasn't born on December 25th. That's not like I take an issue with it.
Do you have, okay.
Like the issue.
Okay. So do you have a problem with this? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to do it for the people because there's a degree of honesty and that you need to actually.
Dishonest. I think that he really means it.
Yeah. To move forward, sometimes you just have to be like fair. Okay, fair enough. That's true. Okay. But anyway, so what it comes down to is something called the course of Abia. The course of Abia. Now, when you're calculating the birth of Jesus, it is based off the course of Abia, because my understanding is that I believe John the Baptist was conceived basically during the priestly service of John the Baptist was conceived during the priestly service of basically Abia, because that's what Zechariah was. He was a priest, and so that's one of the ways that you can calculate the way with which Jesus is born in December. So if you look at the book of Luke and read chapter 1, if you go to verse 5, let me just get it on the screen. So Luke chapter 1, verse 5. So there you go. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abia.
Yeah.
And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, blameless. And they had no child, because that Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. So they were old people. So it was during this service that that John the Baptist was conceived. Now, one of the things, if you understand, if you read the scripture and understand it, what you'll see also is that Jesus is born 6 months after, I guess, Jesus is born basically 6 months after his cousin, John the Baptist.
Can you be born twice?
See, they say don't cast your pearls to swine. What I'm trying to show you is something which most people don't know.
No, I know that.
No, but you didn't know this, because look.
During the reign of Herod the Great.
Yeah. So verse 26.
And when his son was deposed and Quirinius took over, he conducted a census, and that's when it says Jesus was born.
You don't know. Listen, I've just told you, right, that because he's a priest, okay, as I showed you in the scripture, that John the Baptist is conceived during that course. Now, that course takes place at a certain period within the year. So, for example, if for example, let me just make the point. So, during the course, right, it takes you to a certain period within the year. So, let's say, for example, hopefully I get this right and I'm not gonna mess this up. So if you look at the month of March is when I believe John the Baptist would have been born. So the priestly service would have occurred around let's say, no, let me do this. So John the Baptist was born in March. And then 9 months from that point, I believe that takes us to December. So that is how we arrive at December being when Jesus was born.
Okay, still doesn't fix the problem of the 10-year discrepancy of his birth
There's
being
no 10 years
twice.
discrepancy. Quirinius became governor in Syria in 6 AD, man. And he did the tax census that year.
When did Herod the Great die? He died 10 years earlier.
4 BC.
Can you give me the historical evidence of that?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Without using ChatGPT.
So, okay, anyway. So let me be clear really quickly. So September is when John the Baptist is conceived. So I just want to be crystal clear. And remember, this is 6 months ahead of Jesus. Okay. And so Jesus is conceived in March because John the Baptist's conception would have been during around like September. That would have been, that's known to be a course of Abia. That would have been maybe a slightly later time a priest would operate the course of Abia, and then Jesus gets conceived, 6 months later in March. So if you add 9 months from March, that takes you to December. Now, what I've basically done is a priestly course calculation, which is actually biblical, and it's historical as well. So there is, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to this point about the Annunciation, this point about consumption, this is actually, as we see in Luke chapter 1, verse 26, and in fact 24, 25, 26, is actually, it's consistent with tradition in a way. There is a consistency about it. So I'm showing you something which, if you study it really well, you can see that you can make sense of it to a degree.
No,
but
you can't.
There's nothing. But there's nothing that you have, on the contrary, to say that he didn't have, a documented birth in a way. Because what I'm saying is that he did. Like, there's a way to understand kind of the way, the manner with which not only was Christ born, but how it's connected to other figures like John the Baptist, Zacharias, Zechariah, and Mary. So I can look at the text. I have a reference point. I can analyze. I can try and work it out. But you don't have anything on the contrary to say to override that, or you don't have anything on the contrary that would sort of show us a completely different story. I think what's happening is you're kind of like saying, "Oh, no, it's not possible." You're kind of criticizing. Of course, you have the right to mock because God's given you free choice, but only for a certain amount of time. So you've got all of that, but you don't have anything on the contrary of substance to say, yeah, that Christ's birth, is not factual.
Well, bring it on, man.
So it's true.
I do actually have something like Luke says he was born during the census of Quirinius, which wasn't done until 6 CE.
Jeez.
You can't be born in 4 BCE and 6 BC.
Okay,
and the divine Augustus.
I have a question for you.
It verifies that Caesar Augustus ordered the multiple massive emperor white census many times.
And when did that happen?
So it could be that happened in the 28 BC, 8 BC, 14 AD,
6 CE.
and 8 BC. I'm looking at it, man. So it could be 8 BC, no problem. And it took about like 8 years to do it. So it could be around 5 BC or 4 BC, according to historical data.
And what historical data is that?
The deeds of divine Augustus.
Nope.
Nope. What do you mean, nope?
Yo, I have a serious question for you, brother. So this is okay. So you don't believe in God, right?
There's literally two conflicting things in history.
I have a question for you, right?
And they are like at least 10 years apart.
I have a serious question for you. This is very embarrassing, right? You don't believe in God, right?
Nope.
So as we showed you all the proof through the Gospels that John was historical, that they historically wrote the Gospels.
John was not historical.
Is Paul historical?
Paul, yes. Everything else, no.
Did Paul historically knew John? Why are you so quiet? Did Paul historically knew John?
Paul and John are probably the closest two books in the Bible.
You just said John was not historical.
Oh wait, Luke copied directly from Mark.
Bro, let's go back on the top. Let's go back to what I was saying. John, right? You said John was not historical.
John didn't write John.
Did Paul historically know John? Yes or no?
John the Baptist? No.
The Apostle John. So that's Paul. That's it. Bro, did Paul historically know John? The Apostle John, even though it's not different. Did Paul historically knew John?
Yeah, and those are the only two people that actually did know each other.
Okay, they did. And when John confirmed Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and Paul confirmed Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because John knew Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Paul knew John. Does that all connect?
No,
to the Gospels that Luke?
No, nobody knows. Mark didn't write Mark. Matthew didn't write Matthew.
Nope.
I just showed you historical evidence. I don't understand. This is actually embarrassing.
I don't understand either. Nope.
But
Very cool ad hominem. Very cool.
go back.
You are the homo. At homo for you.
How do you make sense, right? John and Paul historically know each other. Paul confirmed the Gospels. How are you going to tell the people who knew the people who wrote the Gospels, right? How are you going to tell them that they didn't write it if they all confirmed, even though they all knew each other, except for Paul, Matthew, Mark, and Luke?
Show me where Matthew wrote Matthew. Show me where Matthew says, "I am Matthew. I wrote Matthew."
Nope.
It's literally in the chapter. The chapter says Matthew. John, the chapter says John. Luke, the chapter says Luke. Like,
Exactly.
chapter,
The Gospels say, this is the gospel of Jesus Christ according to John, Matthew, Luke, and Mark. So you can write it, you can read it, you can know it, man.
And Paul historically knew John, and they confirmed the gospel. I'm gonna believe the people, the man Paul who knew John.
How long?
John,
how long after?
And John.
How long after Jesus' death did Paul write the Gospels?
It's literally in the name.
It's like Boy Scouts, man.
Swear.
Why isn't it Girl Scouts? Because it says Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I was never molested as a kid, so I wasn't in Boy Scouts.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the information, man.
An example. All right. You're kind of quiet. Your chat GPT is not processing the cooking.
You haven't brought a single reliable source.
That's not.
You haven't either, man.
You haven't
the
either. The Bible says that, so it must be true,
bro. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying historically, Paul knew John. This is outside the Bible. Paul historically knew John. This is a historical fact. Paul historically wrote notes and letters, and it was historically known that Paul wrote it. Okay, so now we know who.
According to who?
According to historians. The historians. The people who actually.
Which historians?
The people who actually studied Jesus' footsteps, the letters, all of that. They are the ones who said, yes, I'm going to agree with them because they're the one who studied it. It's a historical figure. You're laughing.
Some historians read some stuff and said, "Yep, that's the way it must be," and then they.
So he's always gonna.
Okay, so
guys, look.
George Washington.
So Ellie.
Figure.
So Ellie, he's always gonna. He's
Hold on, let me.
You know, we have to leave. You know, the thing is that he
doesn't.
One second, Ellie.
Oh, my fault.
1 second, Ellie. Yeah, no. The thing is, bro, so Satan's stalker. You know, you have made a decision you reject Jesus. You don't want Jesus. You reject God. You don't want God. You don't want to go to heaven. I think you do have Satanist influences, and you're not kind of interested in the gospel in a way. I hope there is a curiosity about you that sort of brings you to this platform, and maybe
short of a giant face appearing in the sky saying that I am God.
Okay, fine. So yeah, no, I get you. You don't want God. I get it. You don't want God. That and I showed you Luke 16, and just the whole principle of that parable. Even if someone rose from the dead, they're not going to believe anyway. So you get some people like that ultimately because it's their choice, it's their prerogative, to make the decision. But it does have, I'm just letting you know, it does have eternal consequences. So you have to ask yourself, even if I ask you now, you're going to sort of make a joke of it, but I don't think you know how serious the question is. Where are you going to go when you die?
Nowhere.
Yeah, where are you gonna go?
You know,
Where are you gonna go?
facts.
Nowhere. It's just nothing. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah. So, guys, this is sort of the final question, really, because
When I
we'll
was
be
a child, I
definitely-
drowned in a pool, and when the ambulance came and got me, I was DOA. I was not breathing. I had to be resuscitated after being without breath for about 10 minutes, and I was resuscitated. You want to know? You don't want to know what I saw? What I heard? Nothing.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, no, glad that he said this, because here is why I'm about to prove him wrong. Two things.
Ellie, he's not even, the thing is, Ellie, is he's not even, the thing is, this is the kind of example that, Jesus talks about, and the people need to understand this, is that there's some people who've made their choice.
Yeah.
They've laid their bed and they need to lie on it. Like, the reality is, I don't think he understands how serious his position is, because should he, God forbid, anything happen, someone like him, there's people out there like him that die in their sin. What he doesn't understand is that he has to stand before a holy God, okay, who cannot allow him into heaven because of the sin. He needs his sin washed away. And because he's saying no to grace, he's saying no to what Jesus Christ did on the cross, then he has to bear his own sins. And so that only leaves him with one destination, and that's him sending himself to a place of eternal torment. That's what he wants. That's the thing, Ali. That's what he wants, my friend. These are this when someone's like this, right, and they're hardened and everything.
This is the perfect
Because we
for the unforgivable sin. If he actually does, and he actually sees, because his spirit.
Yeah, I mean, like,
he didn't do nothing. His spirit did not leave his body. This is the perfect example of unforgivable sin. If he dies at his position, I hope that doesn't happen. By the grace of God, I hope he actually finds him. If he were to die at his position, he would have committed the unforgivable sin.
I've already committed the unforgivable sin. What are you talking about?
No, you did it. You're not dead yet.
no, so he's gonna swear. He's already said he's already blasphemed the Holy Spirit, like he literally said, But what he's doing at the end of the day.
Trolling.
He has to pay the price. He has to pay the price. So, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to pay the price. So let him pay the price. This is a situation where you now have to give him, let go. This now, okay, you deal with it then, fine. And there's loads of Muslims I talk to like this, loads of atheists like this. There's people like this generally.
Jesus loves you.